What's going on, guys? This is going to be a quick up-close look at the Primary Arms Compact PLX 1:8x24 first focal plane rifle scope, which features an illuminated ACSS RAPTOR M8 reticle designed for 5.56 and 308. Now the one I have right here is a meter variant of the ACSS RAPTOR with M8 reticle. If you're a military guy like me, you'll feel right at home. But they do have a version in yards if that's what you're looking for. Let me tell you guys up front that this is by no means a budget optic like many of the other PA optics they sell. The scope here is part of their Platinum line and is one of their higher end models that sports super clear Japanese glass. The optic is currently listed on the Primary Arms website for around $1,500. So I'm sure that's a deal breaker for a lot of you. And if that's the case and you're looking for a cheaper alternative low power variable optic, I highly recommend their SLX Raptors in either the 1:6 or 1:8, depending on your preference. These scopes are in the $400 to $500 range and are damn good budget optics. I used one out in the Nevada desert shooting with Dimitri the very first time I went out there. I was able to engage targets at distance in very low light conditions. It's just an unbeatable optic for the price. Dude, this is a phenomenal optic. In any event, I look forward to going back out there in the very near future so that I can use this new compact scope. Last time I was there, I used the PLX 1:8 with ACSS RAPTOR M2 reticle. I ran several exercises with unknown distance targets, and the optic performed flawlessly on my rifle. However, with the less weight and slimmer profile of this optic, it definitely has become my go-to. So going over the specs of this new scope, the overall weight of this scope comes in at approximately 16.95 ounces, with a length of 9.28 inches. So it's significantly lighter and shorter than the PLX 1:8 with ACSS M2 Raptor that I've been running for a while that weighed 26.9 ounces. The optic has a rear diopter that you can set for your specific eye, which is a critical first step before zeroing your rifle. Moving forward, we have the power ring. This scope is a first focal plane scope, so regardless of what power setting you have it on, the reticle will be accurate. The power ring will adjust magnification from 1 power for CQB all the way up to 8 power for further distance engagements. As you can see, the scope comes with a standard throw lever, which is definitely nice to have. They also have an upgrade that you can pick up, which comes with a longer foldable lever. Replacing it is very easy and just a matter of swapping them out with an Allen wrench. On the left-hand side, the scope features an illumination setting from 1 all the way up to 10. And in between each setting is an off setting so that you do not have to go all the way back down to turn the illumination off. This is a feature that I absolutely love. The manual also states that this optic is NVG compatible. In other words, you can run very low settings, which will work in conjunction with your night vision device. The reticle's illumination is powered by a single, readily available 2032 battery that's contained inside the illumination knob's cap, and can quickly be changed out when it dies. Additionally, the scope features auto live technology, in which the optic, if it sits motionless, after 3 minutes it will turn off the illumination to save battery life. The illumination will automatically kick back on, however, the second the optic detects motion. Your elevation and windage adjustment turrets are protected by screw-on caps. Underneath the cap is a pretty aggressive knob designed for better grip while adjusting. The adjustments on the knobs are very defined, and the click value on each turret is 1 click equals 0.1 mil. Lastly, the front of the scope is threaded so it can accept an anti-reflection device. Alright guys, so that's this compact scope in a nutshell. Now let's talk about the biggest feature of this optic in my opinion, and that's the Advanced Combined Sighting System RAPTOR M8 reticle inside of it. I can tell you guys with 100% certainty that my experiences in combat have shown me that training on a flat range, although good for building fundamentals, does not adequately prepare you for engagements against an enemy combatant. Armed enemy combatants do not stand at known distances waiting for you to hit them. Range estimation and windage are 2 huge contributing factors in scoring hits on target, and that's what the ACSS can help you with. I'm not going to beat around the bush here, guys. This reticle is designed for warfighting. It has several features in it that enable you to obtain close enough estimation of your target in order to effectively engage them at a respective distance. In this drill that you're seeing right here, I'm running around looking for enemy targets. Once I find them, I have to use my optic to determine approximately how far away I am from them. Then, I use the appropriate hash mark on my bullet drop compensation, as well as my wind estimation to deliver hits on target. So let's take a look at the reticle and see why it is, in my opinion, probably the most effective reticle for an infantryman out there.
That's a hit.
Yep, looks like a hit.
First and foremost, it's important to mention that this optic has an etched reticle. So this reticle will always be present regardless of whether your battery runs out or not. Now this is the ACSS RAPTOR M8 reticle. On the left-hand side, you see a representation of what the reticle looks like at 1 power, and on the right, a representation of what it looks like at 8 power. The 1 power setting of this optic is designed for close quarters engagement. You'll notice that the 1 power of the horseshoe inside the crosshairs is very small. It is by design, and when illuminated, it essentially acts like a red dot. Additionally, the crosshairs really work well in drawing your eyes in quickly to a target. Once you begin to increase the power on your optic for further out engagements, the features of the ACSS RAPTOR M8 reticle really come into play. Now, as I said before, this is a combat-oriented reticle. Everything you see here is to assist you in scoring hits on your target without having to pull your head and eyes away from your target to do some type of mathematical equation in the middle of a firefight. Incorrect range estimation and wind are probably the two biggest reasons for missed shots. This reticle is designed to assist you with both of those and a whole lot more. First, the reticle has a built-in bullet drop compensation calibrated for both 5.56 and 308 out to 800 meters. The tip of the chevron is a fine aiming point to be used for engagements from 0 to 100 meters. The bottom of the tip of the chevron is calibrated for 200 meters, and the tip of the post represents 300 meters. Moving down the bullet drop compensation ladder, you'll notice that there's hash marks for 400 all the way to 800 meters. The small hash marks in between each 100 meter increment represents 50 meters. So here is an example for hold for 550 meters. And this would be an example for a hold for 750 meters. Now, wind always plays a huge factor in long-range shooting. As you can see on both sides of the bullet drop compensation ladder, the dots are calibrated for wind holds. The first wind hold starts at the edge of the 400 meter hash mark and then pushes out by 5 mile per hour increments. For example, this would be a 5 mile per hour wind hold. The next dot would be a 10 mile per hour wind hold, and the following dot would be a 15, and so on. After the 400 meter hash mark, however, the first wind dot is the start of your 5 mile per hour holds, and again push out in 5 mile per hour increments. So if you had a 10 mile per hour crosswind blowing from right to left on a target that was 400 meters away, you would place the 10 mile per hour wind dot on the left side of the reticle on the target center mass and fire. If you are within 300 meters, the reticle also has lead dots for moving targets. How the mover dots work is they are essentially calibrated for the time of flight of your round intersecting with the movement of the target into the chevron tip. These mover dots are set for enemies that are walking, jogging, and running. So if you had an enemy that was running from left to right, you would place the outside dot on him on the left side of your reticle and fire. If he's walking, you'd place the inside dot on them and fire. Now, all the features I just showed you so far count for nothing if you cannot accurately estimate the distance to your target. The ACSS RAPTOR M8 reticle has 3 different methods to estimate your target's range. First, you can estimate range using your target's shoulder-to-shoulder width. This works off the principle that the military doctrine established that the average adult male's shoulder-to-shoulder width is approximately 19 inches across. To use this method, you place either your chevron or your hash marks on your bullet drop compensation on your target's shoulder-to-shoulder width. The one that fits is your estimated distance to your target. When using your chevron, if the shoulders line up with the outside edges of the chevron, your target is approximately 200 meters away. If your target's shoulder-to-shoulder width lines up with the inner edges of the base of your chevron, they're approximately 300 meters away. The rest of the hash marks line up with their respective markings. So if your target's shoulder-to-shoulder width corresponds with the respective hash mark, it's at that particular distance away. In this example, our target is approximately 400 meters away. In this example, they are approximately 700 meters away. Once we obtain the estimated range to our target, we're going to engage them by placing the corresponding hash mark on our target center mass and fire.
Next, we can estimate a target's range by their full height, using the vertical lines on the crosshairs. This works on the military principle that the average adult male is approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. To utilize this method, we place the target's feet on the base of the vertical lines. The one that fits is the estimated distance to our target.
In this example, our target is approximately 400 meters away. In this example, they are approximately 600 meters away. If you cannot see the full height of your target, you can also range them by half by placing the intersecting line on their belt buckle. The one that fits is the estimated distance to your target. The last major feature on this reticle that I'm going to mention is that the horizontal and vertical lines on your crosshairs are spaced exactly 1 mil apart. There is also a barbell-like object every 50 mils. So if you are proficient in ranging using mils, you have that capability. I should also mention in regards to mils that inside the horseshoe, the last running dot is 5 mils. The outside edge of the horseshoe is 10 mils. And then as you can see here is 20 mils, and then 25, and so on in 5 mil increments. You can also use the mils to reference the targets to other team members. For instance, if you're trying to call out a target to someone that does not see what you're looking at, you can simply tell them to place their chevron on a known point and then reference to them how many mils left or right and up and down the target is from the center point of that chevron. Well, that's it, guys. That completes this overview of the Primary Arms Compact PLX 1-8x24 first focal plane rifle scope. If you guys are interested in any of the optics that I've reviewed from Primary Arms in the past, please check out the links I've pinned in the comment section below, as well as entering Brent0331 at checkout. For many of these optics, if you do that, they will give you a free gift, such as a free mount or an anti-reflection device, depending on what kind of optic it is. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment.